Sit in relaxed position. Just feel comfortable. Take deep breath. Feel completely stress free. Just see that my body is now still, and I'm bringing my concentration towards center of my forehead, and I see myself being of light, sparkling and shining at the center of my forehead. I feel light within me. I can see myself as point of light. I am in soul conscious state now. I am a peaceful, blissful soul. And I see myself in the aura of light, in the companion of God, my beloved Father. I'm feeling as if I'm under His canopy. He is radiating all His powers to me, and I feel safe and secure in this body of light. And slowly, I am recalling previous day's session where I received the beautiful knowledge of karma. Now, my Father, the God, the Supreme Soul, is guiding me and telling me to perform elevated karma by being in the soul conscious state. He is also making me understand that what is happening in my life, I'm the responsible. I take all the responsibility of what is happening in my life, whether it is good or bad, because these are the consequences of my past karmas. I have to settle all my accounts now. One thing that I have realized, that I have to forgive all other souls to whom I consider they have given me sorrows, inconvenience, or pain. I immerse all those souls in the companion of my Baba. I seek forgiveness and radiate all the light from Baba to those souls that is settling all my accounts with them. Now I feel very light. My Baba is telling, child, now you know the philosophy of karma. You have to transform not only yourself, but this world. I'm receiving a lot of love and power from my Baba, my God, and thanking Him for such a wonderful realization and knowledge of karma He has given to me. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Okay, Om Shanti. So I welcome all of you for today's session. And I hope everybody has understood the philosophy of karma. I will just share this screen so that you can reflect on what we have learned yesterday. Just give me one moment. So just have a look for a minute on this. Basically, it is whatever we perform our actions, we have equal and opposite reaction. That's where it creates our accounts. And there are three kinds of karma: positive, negative, and neutral. And whatever we perform in our soul conscious state, that becomes a positive karma. But normally, we do everything, whatever actions in our bodily consciousness. And that's where we are accumulating a lot of negative karma. It becomes very important to settle these karma. So, first of all, we need to stop creating new accounts before settling the old ones. And to stop new accounts, I think we know now that everything we now need to perform in soul conscious state. And then the fast way to settle our old karmas is the connection with God. So, as much we connected to the God in the remembrance of God and seek His advice before doing any action. And that's how I think it will start settling all our old karmas. So, this is, I think, the recap of previous session. Now, I welcome Sister Sonal to go ahead with today's session. I think it's a very interesting topic today, the drama cycle, or we can say soul cycle. So, Sister Sonal, please. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Brother Abhinav, and welcome to everyone who's here online today. The drama cycle for me was on my journey, the link that brings everything together, and something that really made a lot of sense. It made me appreciate and value time especially for my personal efforts, and I think a whole lot more. And I really do hope that you feel that after this session, because it is very interesting. We are going through the whole history and geography of human souls. So, and I had this beautiful suggestion from Brother Abhinav on the introduction of this session, which I'd like to start out with. It's not something I've done previously, but it really feels good, and I want you to really think about these things. And so we're going back to our first session as that being of light, the understanding, the knowledge, and the acceptance of myself as beyond the physical body, as this energy of light, this bright spark of light consciousness. And I just want you to take a moment to think. If you were free of all karma, yesterday we talked about how in this birth now, we've got to really come back to neutral. Because when I am in neutral, then I am this beautiful divine energy. I am godlike. I just radiate this peace, love, joy, happiness, powers, purity. So just think of yourself as this pure energy of light, untainted by any karmic bondages and deaths, positive or negative. And the essence of your being is just pure peace. You are completely pure. This pure light, emanating love, joy, power, purity, wisdom, and bliss. So this is you, clean, fresh. You are in your home, most divine home. The home where there is not a single trace of vice or body consciousness or negativity. This is also the home of the Supreme Being, and you are one with this eternal parent. And something in you says it's time to go down and to express all that divine beauty in you. So just think about it. When you first come down in this world, you are so pure, you're so perfect, you're so divine, and you're so godlike. So just think about the body you take. Remember, there is no karma of any sort with the body, with nature, with others. So just think about that body, how pure, divine, light, disease-free, pain-free, and perfect your body is. And so a nice way to describe the body of this pure and perfect soul is that of a deity, divine, elevated, completely pure. So this is your first birth. You're in your body, but you're detached from it. So just feel that lightness. And because you're so pure, everything around you is pure and perfect. The elements are your servants, you are the master. So everything is in perfect balance and harmony. The right weather, spring-like, just beautiful abundance of nature, abundance of food, the purest, highest quality of food. And your relationships are completely pure. Everyone is just like you, maybe in a different body as a male or a female, but pure bodies, pure light, pure consciousness. And it's as if there is this halo of light around everyone. And when you see each other, you see your divine forms, your divine pure energy. And there's this beautiful exchange of mutual love and respect with each other. And so really experience this time. We have gone back into that time when we first arrived in our pure form on this earth. And I'm not the only one. There are others like me. And I feel like I'm the master of this world. I feel like I belong to this world, and everything belongs to me. Perfect harmony. There is only one language here. We all understand each other. There is the only one religion, a religion that we don't have to follow, because the religion is of peace. And because I am at peace with myself and all those around me, I know that this religion is called the original, eternal deity religion. One language, one religion, unity, oneness, love, peace. And because there are no negative karmas, there is no suffering, there is no sorrow. And there is one government, one administration. And what we learn here is to express ourselves through art, through music, through divine dance. We learn the administrative arts of ruling a pure, elevated kingdom. And this is my world, my true world. This is the inheritance that I am receiving. I have been here before, and I am returning back to this world. And this world is the golden world, the age of truth, the golden era, the golden age. And having lived in this world as this soul in pure soul consciousness, I leave my body like I'm just slipping out of a costume. There is no sorrow attached. or no fear attached. I know I'm eternal, and all those around me in my relationships know that I'm eternal. And I leave my body and I take another body. And this keeps on going on and on and on for 8 births. And I have taken 8 births like this in this most perfect, beautiful golden age. And in my 9th birth, I am still in this beautiful world, this world of light. But there's more souls that have come down, pure divine beings all around me, more than that they were in the golden age. Everything is the same. I still experience my divine self and express this through my divine body. The only thing that has changed is the number of souls that have come down. We were a small kingdom of 900,000 in that golden age, and now we are about 2 million. And again, everything is the same, one world, one religion, one language. However, having taken those 8 births, there's a slight degradation in my consciousness, one that I'm not really fully aware of, yet something has shifted. There's a slight, very, very slight attachment to my body now, having taken these births. And again, I keep on taking one birth after the other in this age. This age is called the Silver Age, still part of heaven, still pure and sorrow-free, still divine, and I'm still a deity. But there is a slow drop, a small drop in consciousness. And in this age, I take 12 births. So that by the end of this age, I have taken 20 births. And there's more souls that have come down by the end of this age. And we are about 330 million beautiful souls on this physical plane. And having taken those 20 births, I come around the cycle into the 3rd quadrant. And in this 21st birth, I notice a drastic shift in my consciousness. I feel like I've forgotten who I am, and I now think I am this body. I am this physical body. And the minute I think in this way, I get attached to the body. And I realize that my body is limited. And fear sets in. I don't want to lose my body. And from fear and attachment sets in all the other vices: anger, lust, ego, greed. I now see everyone as physical bodies. And I'm attracted to physical bodies, physical things. And this deep negative vice of lust takes root in my consciousness. My self-identity is based on my body and all the external things. And when I don't get these, I experience sadness and sorrow and anger. My thoughts, my words, my actions change. They are now based on body consciousness, on the vices. And I begin to accumulate karmic debts. And the settlement of these debts begin to feel heavy. And I call out to God to free me from this sorrow and pain. And in this calling, all the religious founders begin to come down. And so the soul of Buddha comes, establishing the Buddhist religion. And behind him come his follower souls, some more souls coming down in this copper age, the age of the establishment of religions and the fall of human consciousness. And after Buddha comes Christ, then Muhammad. And the three main religions are now established. And later on, other religious founders come. And behind them come their followers, and the population of the world begins to increase. And in this birth, in this quadrant, this age, the copper age, I take 21 births. And having taken the 8 births of the golden age, the 12 births of the silver, and the 21 births of this age, I become totally impure, degraded, body conscious. And this then brings me into the final quadrant, the Iron Age. In this Iron Age, my consciousness has completely become materialistic. Everything is about the outside, material possessions. My vices have increased. I've created through repeated negative actions. I have created heavy negative sanskaras, patterns and behaviors. And I have attracted relationships that have increased these karmic debts. And the soul feels heavy and burdened. I no longer can hold this burden. I feel weak and tired. And I call out to that one that I remember I was with at one point in this space, in this world that was completely peaceful. And this one listens to my cries and comes down to restore the world and the human consciousness. And by this time, I have taken 42 births. And so I am in my final birth, receiving all this knowledge about the self, the deep philosophies that govern the self, and the Supreme Being, the Divine, says to me, "Come, child, hold my hand. Let me take you across to that pure world again from this old, sorrowful Iron Age." And in this Iron Age, the world population increases, there is division. Although the division started through religion and body consciousness in the Copper Age, the Iron Age takes it to its maximum. Complete disunity, complete degradation. And I hold the hand of that one, and he tells me, "Since you are not ready yet for that pure world, let me create another age, a subtle age. Let me take you into this subtle age. And this age is the confluence or the Diamond Age. I am here in this old world, yet my consciousness is becoming pure. I am now connected to the Supreme Source, and I receive this unlimited knowledge and wisdom from which I turn from an ordinary human being into a divine deity being." And before I come into that golden age, I become an angel, a pure, subtle angel. And especially for me, Supreme Soul has created the subtle angelic world. And this is my recognition of my journey, my story in the world drama cycle. Om Shanti. So this was the experience of spinning the discus of self-realization. So those souls who belong to the golden age, at the end of the golden age, will be touched by this deep divine knowledge and wisdom. And not just touched, but will recognize the essence of time and will purify themselves so that they return back to who they were and then receive the reward of that golden age. So on the screen, we see the world drama cycle. And so the first half of the cycle, we call heaven. That is the golden and silver ages, because the souls that reside in this world are completely or almost pure. And then when body consciousness hits, the souls of the golden, silver ages, by taking rebirth, come into the copper age. And their consciousness falls. And from being these divine, pure, godlike beings, they become worshippers, begging for God or someone to help them, to give them peace, to give them love, when everything is already in them. So this is when also all the main religions are created. So Hinduism is not actually established by a religious founder, but it is a way of life that guides you to living in your highest elevated form. And then come all the other religions created by religious founders. And then from the soul world, more souls keep on coming down, down, down into the physical world. And each one settles after their respective religions. But these souls, when they first come down, we call them the religious souls. They have a lot of love. So there's a lot of purity in the religion at that time. So just like we have the story, our story of going into the gold, of becoming golden, silver, copper, and iron age, the same thing happens to religions. They start out very pure, and there's so much love for God and the religion. And then the religions too, over time, go through their silver, copper, and iron ages. And so by the end of the Iron Age, religions have also degraded. That purity in religion has been lost. And in the Iron Age, when we enter the Iron Age, there's more souls that come down, the bulk of the souls. And these souls we call the newer souls. And these new souls are completely pure as well. And so they experience life because they come in a world that is completely materialistic and physical. They experience their happiness through these physical comforts. Whereas the golden, silver, and copper age souls are now beginning to feel that there is something beyond this. And no matter how much I accumulate on a physical level, it doesn't fulfill me, it doesn't recharge me. And having heard the call and the cries of this golden and silver age souls, the Supreme Being comes down and gives us all this knowledge. And we no longer now feel that we are in an Iron Age. We feel like we are in this confluence age where we are able to become the masters of the self, purify the self, and when we are cleansed and purified, we will then be worthy of that golden age. So this is like that little confluence. And so as we speak, we are sitting in that diamond age, that very powerful age. And this is this one opportunity, this one chance in this whole drama cycle for us to play our role in the most highest elevated way possible, to take responsibility and to bring a new pure world back. But for this to happen, the old consciousness has to die. And when the old consciousness is dying, there's a lot of destruction that takes place in the world. So I'm going to just stop there because there might be a lot of questions for this. So maybe we can open up the floor for any questions. So maybe we could just unmute everyone. Or I
Yeah,
don't know if you're able to
people can, yeah, they can unmute themselves
okay,
and ask the questions.
okay. Because I'm sure there's a lot of questions about the world drama cycle, and it's very, very important to know because right now we don't really have the value of time. We're not the masters of time, but drama cycle teaches us that every moment right now, as we speak, is extremely important because there's a huge transformation or transition happening, and we don't want to be left behind. It's also, the conference age is also the time of a lot of karmic cleansing. So souls who came in the beginning of the Iron Age, by the end of the Iron Age, they take 42 births. And in that period, the soul degrades very quickly, very fast. Golden Age souls take that 84 births, all those births. So the 8, 20, 21, and 42 births to really degrade. Whereas souls, new souls are coming down because they are experiencing the world and expressing themselves through materialism. They degrade their consciousness in 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 births goes down very fast. And their actions are all on acquiring physical, doing all these physical actions that become highly toxic and negative and karmic. And so the return of that, even in the Iron Age, in their other births, is very, very harsh. The situations they're born in, the karma, because there's a lot of abuse of the body by maybe, abusing the body through sex lust, through taking drugs, alcohol, giving it lots of toxic foods. We'll talk a lot more on that tomorrow, all the things that really degrade the body. So all this abuse to the body means that we take births in bodies that are incapacitated, or we get the karmic account of that body. We've got to settle that account. We've abused wealth, we've abused resources, so we are going to face situations where the elements are going to really, dying in floods and tsunamis and natural disasters. So these are all a result of karmic actions that we have created. And it's a hard one, but this is what this law of karma and this philosophy is saying, that everything we do has a consequence and we will have to settle it. But remember, whether it's us or whether it's the souls of the world, they're settling the accounts of their karmic actions, and it's feeling really harsh. But as souls, they are actually being purified. So on the whole greater picture, there is a purification process taking place. And it is very necessary because the burden of sin on souls is so heavy that something has to give. Something has to give. So, and this is right now what's going on in the world. And we are fortunate and blessed to be here, to be able to have the time to listen to this knowledge, the intellect to absorb it, and, rather than being distracted in anything else. And so if we are given this opportunity, we've got to really awaken the intellects and use this, okay? So for me, what I can really say is the drama cycle teaches me the value and importance of time and why it's so necessary for me to do this work right now. It also shoulders a responsibility because if I'm getting this awakening, this understanding now at such a deep level, it means I have a part to play from the very beginning. It means I'm a co-creator with God, with the divine, right? And so it is my responsibility to purify my consciousness so that I can transform this world. And of course, it's not me alone. There are a number, there is a set number of people who will, or souls that will do this work. And that set number is enough, even if it's a small percentage of the 7+ billion souls of the entire world, it's enough to liberate the whole world from sorrow and suffering. And so this is really the main role of that Supreme Soul. I know we talked about it a little, but again, to touch on that, is to really come at the end of the drama cycle when enough is enough, something needs to give and shift, to just remind us back of who we are. Because when we remember and we do this work, everything physically changes in the world. So the divine God, Supreme Being, also comes to liberate all of us, each one of us. So whether we're Golden Age, Copper Age, Silver Age, or Iron Age, we are all going to return home. And before returning home, we have to go neutral. We have to become neutral. And we talked about it yesterday. How can we become neutral? Either we stop all the negative karma, we become soul conscious, we start doing positive karma, and we start really forming that union, that connection with God that purifies all our karmic debts. And yeah, so I'm just going to end there again and just see if anyone has any questions. Normally, when I'm doing this in person, there are millions of questions on the drama cycle. So please don't feel shy. It's very important that you ask and to get clarity. So who would like to go first? Can unmute yourselves. Or is it maybe it's very clear. I know many of you have done this course before. And it might be very clear. Wow. No questions. So maybe what we can do now is we can end the session. Maybe Brother Abhinav can take us through a meditation on the world drama cycle, and we can end our session.
Okay. I think everyone again sit comfortably. Just take away your awareness from where you are. Just concentrate on center of your forehead. Try to concentrate. Feel very relaxed. Now I see myself as a soul, being of light at the center of my forehead. I am a peaceful, pure soul. I radiate my purity all around. I see myself in this confluence age where I am receiving this knowledge. I learned how to connect with my Supreme Soul in this confluence age. So, as a soul, as a pure soul, a point of light, I am connecting to my Supreme Soul. In the purest form, I see the Supreme Soul as point of light in Paramdham, in Soul World. I receive all the pure power as an inheritance from my Supreme Father. And now He is guiding me to understand my own existence. I can see myself in my purest form when I take birth on the physical world, completely pure, completely soul conscious. Everything matches with my purity in this world. I perform all the action in soul conscious state. This is the golden age. My soul conscious state influence all the matter in this age, the surroundings, the elements, the five elements of this world were also perfect because I was perfect. I was enjoying without any sorrow, without any pain. Slowly, as I take birth by birth, my purity depletes and I slowly moving from golden age to silver age to copper age, becoming more body conscious. And I see myself as body, not the soul. I forgot myself. Slowly, slowly, I forget myself. My true identity was lost. I indulge in all body relations, fulfilling all the desires of the body. And that's how I get all the vices from the start of copper age, through the copper age, into the iron age, and everything in the body conscious state out of my control. Nothing was perfect. And suddenly, in the confluence age, I received this knowledge, and now I remember whole cycle of me. I remember myself as a soul, point of light, all my original qualities. I recognize my father, my Baba, and now I want to connect with him to again transform myself so that I can go to golden age. And that's how my own self cycle will rotate. I'm with Baba now. Baba has shown me full cycle. Now, knowing this cycle, I become unlimited because now I am not in particular birth in limited consciousness. I can see through this cycle. I can see this unlimitedness of myself. And that tells me that what is happening now is happening for good. Everything is benevolent. I am so relaxed now, feeling so powerful, fearless because of this knowledge of drama cycle. Slowly, I am coming back to my physical body, again sitting at the center of my forehead, radiating the light all around with one thought. Now, I want to do the elevated karma. I want to help God to establish the golden age. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. It was beautiful going around the cycle. So Raja Yoga meditation is very creative, and one of the ways we can really get creative is with the cycle and really knowing our role in each birth, you know, of the golden age as that, and silver ages of that divine deity, and the copper ages of this. I become like a worshiper. I go to the temples and I'm asking for God for things, and yet I was that divine being that people are worshiping. And then in the confluence age, I become one that follows the highest code of conduct, the one that has true direct relationship and connection with God. And through that, I become angelic. My awareness becomes angelic, and I am able to have pure love for the world and to guide every soul back into their purity. And so this is really, as we churn this, we really begin to feel a lot of deep self-respect for the self. And that deep self-respect that begins to shine like humility. Okay, we really become humble because that's what self-respect does. It makes us really humble. Lack of self-respect makes us feel either inferior or superior or arrogant. So this is true self-respect that we get from soul consciousness. And I think there is a question.
I think Ramya want to ask question. Please go ahead, Ramya.
Hi, I have like 5 questions now. Can you talk more about the relationship between self-respect and humility and arrogance? I think that was actually one of the first questions in the first session that people were getting at, between self-love and self-reverence. And people think that's a narrow line between becoming arrogant. And somehow there's this concept that you have to be humble and submit yourself versus taking your own power. So that's question 1, and I can ask others if you have time, but that's my main question.
Okay, yeah, we're closing off because there was no questions, but it's very important that we do clear all your questions, and that's a wonderful question. Thank you, Ramya. So as we begin to spin the discus of self-realization and all those roles we've played and the role that we have to play right now in the world drama cycle, we recognize, souls who come from the very beginning, by the end of the cycle, have lost the sense of self-worth and self-esteem. And so this is God's way of instilling it back in us. By reminding us, the more we remind ourselves, because I think in the first session I talked a lot about competition, comparison, then I really know that this is who I really am from a pure level, from a pure conscious. When it's soul conscious, then I recognize this. And when I recognize this, there's this flowing feeling of love and joy and peace and happiness. And when you're full and content inside of yourself, you can never feel inferior or you can never feel superior. So this is true self-respect. I feel whole and complete in who I am. And when I'm whole and complete in who I am, then I recognize that in you. When I have void in me, then I see the voids in you. Okay. When I have all these lack, when I feel lack inside myself, then I see lack in others. So when I fill up and I begin to feel so powerful within so control of my inner world, my life, and I'm now set, I have a purpose, okay? God gives us this very elevated purpose, and the purpose is self-purification, world transformation. Okay, and he also says you're not going to transform the world unless you purify yourself. To purify yourself means to kill your sense of false I, ego consciousness I. And when we begin to do that, then we really become humble in the recognition of not humble in subservience way, not to be subservient to anyone, but to recognize that each soul has their own unique qualities, and to show love in all situations and circumstances, no matter what or how they're behaving. And this is really true humility. Arrogance is when I go into ego defense mode. That is really what arrogance is. And it could be very internal as well. Okay, I don't have to physically say something, but internally, people create that, or we create that, and other people sense it. So Ramya, does that answer the question?
Yes, I think humility and subservience are probably two conflated things that we need to unpack some more in meditation.
Yeah, and the thing is, the deeper we go into this, and these are topics we can now take up on our Friday sessions and go a little deeper into, so that we really begin to grind that sense of self-respect back into ourselves. And remember, soul standing in their sense of self-respect will naturally command respect from others. And so on this journey, we begin to now attract the right people, the right situations. If we have not been earlier, it is because I was not in my self-respect. Yeah. Another question, Ramya? You said you had a few questions. And this helps others, so please ask.
Sorry, and if someone else has a question, I'm happy to step back and allow you to do that.
Yes.
My other question was, we were talking about how there are some leaders that you can see who have really risen to the times. There are people who have led with a sense of collective purpose. Maybe Tedros Ghebreyesus is an example right now for WHO that really leads for the common good. And I'm just wondering if those souls, how do those souls fit into the drama cycle? Are they from a different age? Are they from the same age as us? Can we be like them? What sets people apart who have a very strong drive for the collective good versus personal enrichment?
Okay, thank you for that question. First of all, everything is based on intention. And so whatever people are doing, we really don't know the intentions behind it. But if it is going to be successful, then we know the intent was truly pure. Successful and long term. Okay, when something is short term, then the intent behind that may not have been very pure. So we really don't know the intents. But yes, there are very new souls coming into this onto this earth. And how do we know that? That the soul world is not yet empty. It's because we're still here. Okay. When that soul world is empty, that's when the final shift will happen. But now these souls, remember, just as we came down and we experienced that pure nature of ours and we wanted to give the best of ourselves, there are souls that are now coming onto this earth and they maybe have gone through 1 or 2 or 3 births, and they are now really doing something for the higher good of all. So I would probably place them in the category of new souls. Yeah. And then there's other souls who come in the Iron Age, but so the later you come in the Iron Age, the faster you'll degrade. Okay. So, you know, the degradation happens. So we don't know the future of these souls because the environment is so negative and we can be so easily. So for example, I come in new and I am in this Iron Age, which is all materialism, and I have these pure intentions and I do something pure. And then I begin to receive like all this name and fame and fortune from it. And this can easily corrupt my consciousness. Okay. And I can go into a cycle of degradation. So we don't really know the roles and parts of souls. We only know ours, that we were very pure and high and elevated, and now we've come down that ladder and we now need to return back. And so, yeah, but for me, probably you would class it, these are souls that have taken afresh and they have so much power and wisdom and the ability to influence the world, and the intentions are good in the moment. Yeah. But when this, we call it Maya, the alligator, or Ravan, or these 5 vices strike, you just never know. Okay. So new souls, what happens is all souls are going through this ascension, and the souls that are coming down, they are living their top lives and the purest lives, and slowly, well, not really slowly, they go into degradation quite fast, sometimes over 1 birth as well. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Ramya, are you there?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you for answering my question.
Any more? No more?
I'd like
So
to step back and allow other people to ask, please.
I think no one else has really any questions. Everyone seems very clear, or they're very shy. And that's why when you ask questions, no, it's for the benefit of everyone else, because they may have questions, but just too shy to ask, or I don't know what it is. Or maybe not really understanding the cycle at this moment, because that's also very normal. I know I've had people doing the course repeating and repeating and repeating, and then things becoming more and more and more clearer. So the first time sometimes can be like, whoa, what was that? So please go and ask if there is anything.
So this last question is related to Hinduism, and I know that there's a big difference between Raja Yoga and Hinduism. They're not the same. And I just wanted to know how the drama cycle and the lives and the rebirths relate to a story many Hindus know about the rebirths of Vishnu, who has come in different forms and really represents evolution. And I don't think we can go through each one of his births and all the lessons, but you, in like the example of Lord Rama, he comes as a king and he is degraded through that birth, and he becomes a beggar who is seeking refuge in the forest before he reclaims his kingship. And I see this story also in Christianity when we think about the life of Christ, and I'm wondering how this relates to the cycle as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so basically, a lot of these stories in Hinduism have been made up. They're mythological stories that have been made up to represent what is happening with us at this time. It is our story. It is our story. So that story of Ram and the Lanka and the Sita and all that, this is our story right now. As we are living through this times, connecting to God and purifying ourselves and facing all the demons. But the only difference is in those stories, these vices and the devils and the demons are more external, whereas we recognize in soul consciousness that these are internal things that are we really fighting. And that, unfortunately, those kind of stories have then made us believe that negativity is outside of us, okay? And that's why we are looking at everything outside to blame. Whereas really we've got to look inside and see what needs to change inside of ourselves. So when this whole thing of Vishnu comes up, Vishnu is the sustainer of the new age, represented with these 4 arms. And this is the union of the soul when it's got when it's completely pure. It's got its feminine and masculine energies in balance and harmony, and can sustain a new consciousness, a new world. And so it's representative of ourselves in our balanced form, in our masculine and feminine balance. Maybe that's one of the main kind of symbols of that Vishnu. So Hinduism is very much a depiction of this time, but in more ritualistic or more example format rather than practical. And I mean, this is a whole session we can actually do in this, because there's so much we can go into it, but for now I'll just leave it at that. And one last thing I wanted to share, to just give us an idea of what's happening, and us as, being of one seed, and for me, this was really, really important to know that I always felt, religions divided. And this essence and this understanding made me realize how we're coming from that one seed. So it is like a tree of humanity. And if you look at the tree, the seed is one. So the supreme being, the supreme soul, is the seed of the tree. And the golden and silver age souls are like the roots, okay? And what happens is the seed is planted and the tree, the sapling, grows, and there's this trunk that first begins to grow. So the trunk is one, okay? So that represents the golden and the silver ages, okay? And then in the copper ages, as the tree grows and the number of souls come down, the tree grows and the main branches are created. So we're talking about the branches of all the religions, okay, the main religions. And then in the Iron Age, the tree further branches out, and then there's the little leaves and the twigs, so little cults and sects that grow. So we are from the same seed, but after the Golden and Iron Age, after that oneness and unity, we begin to branch off in different religions and different sects and cults, okay? So, and then by that time, when it's full, by the end of the Iron Ages, this tree becomes completely degraded or rotten. And that's when the seed of this new sapling, a new tree, is planted. And those who belong to the trunk will now take this understanding and begin to create or plant the new sapling of new consciousness. Okay, and so it's like we become the roots that feed that whole tree to bring it back to life. And so when we do, we have a lot of responsibility as ancestor souls, because we were the first ones to degrade, and that's when other souls degrade. So we are responsible. So when the Iron Age souls come into this world, into a degraded world, and they go into degradation very quickly because we came first and our consciousness shifted first. And that's why the world became body conscious. And so that's what they receive as well. Oh, thank you. We have a world that, thank you, Abhinav Bhai. So we've got an actual picture of the tree and the seed. Beautiful. Nice. So that's the human world tree with all the religions and the branches and the twigs. So really begin to look, if you really have this understanding of your role and purpose, then you will feel like you're the roots of this tree, and you feel like, you feel that oneness and unity with the whole. There's no division anymore because you don't segregate yourself into a religion or a cult or a sect, but you look at yourself as part of that seed, and you look at everyone as your brother and sister soul. Thank you for that slide, Abhinav Bhai. So if there's no any other questions, we can call it a day. But speak, because this is very important. It's very important. And also the other thing I wanted to say was, it's very important that we follow this course in order, because if we miss something anyway, it's really going to really not give you the clear understanding. So the first things first. So when you recognize yourself as you are and what you are, then you can recognize the Supreme Being as he is and what he is. And then you can recognize a lot of other deeper things that come with this philosophy and the universal laws that govern us as spiritual beings. Okay, so it looks like no other questions, so we can call it a day, and we'll meet tomorrow same time. And really I'd like to wind the course because we really covered the basics of the philosophy of Raja Yoga, and we've now we need to apply the techniques from what we've learned and make it part of it, because Raja Yoga is not just a meditation, it is a way of life. Okay, it's a constant way of life, and it's not just about sitting in one place every day and at some time and doing some meditation. No, it's also an opened eye meditation. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. So when we are out there in the world, we are in that consciousness as a soul. And practice this. Really, the best thing is to make your laboratory, your mind your laboratory, and experience this yourself and see the wonders it does. When you start looking at others as souls, when you start living from your true self-awareness and self-respect, there's a lot of magic that happens. Things start really shifting. But to do that, we've got to first overcome the ego consciousness that wants to keep us small, that makes excuses, that resists, and creates all kinds of havocs on this journey. And that's why, we'll talk again about it tomorrow, but this is why it's very important to have the right company, the right spiritual company on this journey. But more on that tomorrow. So thank you all for being here this afternoon. Timeliness is very important as well. So if you are joining tomorrow, please, it's your loss, not ours. And also energetically, there is a lot of energy that goes into giving these courses, and karmically, we've got to value this if we either in or out and not halfway there, because you're creating karmic debts for yourself, and energetically, that's not a very good thing to do. So when you step onto this embark, see through things, and not just for this course, I think anything, okay? Just because it's free, sometimes you never know, that's something that's free may be the most valuable thing ever. And there's no price on it because it is most valuable thing. But if you are committing to something, anything, see things through. Yeah, that's one point. I know most of you have done this course, so it doesn't really pertain to you. But if this was something new for you, this is something important. Even if you didn't do it for this, but anything else you do in your life, because that's a sanskara you're creating, and you're telling yourself that you don't really value and appreciate yourself. And so it's very hard to shift into higher consciousness and attract great things in your life when you're feeding that to your samskaras. So thank you, Om Shanti. Thank you, Abhinav Bhai, for facilitating this afternoon, and in the last weekend. All your time and energy is very much valued. And we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same
Thank
place, so same link. Om
thank you.
Shanti.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Sonal, for today's session. Thank you, everyone. I would request everyone to subscribe to our channel, Something Good Happening, because we are planning more videos to upload. Whatever session we will conduct, even Fridays, coming up Friday's session, will be recorded and posted on there so that you will get the notifications. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow at 4.